Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say it's even harder to find. Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these gentle walls. 'Cause all I see is a tower of dreams, real love bursting out of every scene. It's the bigger love of the family.
Welcome into yet another wonderful Thursday night. And actually, Chief in studio, not hiding away, not in studio because he was sick last week. I do want to go ahead and bring in last week's host, Bob the Cigar Guy. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, everybody. I'm glad you're out of your safe house and you're here because you couldn't miss tonight's show. Tonight is must-see TV. That's right.
Tonight is must-see TV. I'm excited. We're going to have on two illustrious guests this evening, two powerhouses within the cigar accessory industry, the culture of cigar accessories, and we'll bring them on here in just a second. But I tell you what, I did enjoy last week having my bed and not having to be on the stream and just controlling everything like Professor X. It was kind of nice being able to just relax. Now, you guys did get a little long-winded there at the end, and I kept texting them, "Hey guys, end the show." I was trying to go to bed, but I couldn't end the show because they were still talking, and if they stopped talking, the show wouldn't end. It just keep going without them being on there.
We are for the people.
We are here for the people. But I do want to welcome in our chatters so far. Lee Riggins has got to go to bed. This was at 7 o'clock. Wake up at midnight, work till 3. Love you guys. What's the website to go to get y'all's BA lighter, by the way? Have a good show. Hey, Lee Riggins, the website, go to ChevetteReport.com. If you go to ChevetteReport.com, actually, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pull it up right here so
Boom.
I can show people how to do it.
Boom.
Let me come back. Oh, that's not the tab that I wanted. I'll come back over here and pull down Mr. Lee Riggins' comment, present my screen, share it over here to where you guys can see the old ChevetteReport.com. Look at there. Big old bright orange button up there that says merchandise. And look at there. You can go ahead and look at our custom quality importers gear. We've got travel humidors, the Palio Pistola lighter, and then we have that UV printed Bob the Cigar Guy, and even Chief cutters over here. We got the both of them down here, and you can do all sorts of bundles and packs. But that is over on ChevetteReport.com.
And free shipping over $50.
Free shipping over $50. That's right. Mac Berger says, "Hey, everyone, can't stay long tonight. One of the boys got old COVID."
Oh, no.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that. Michael Zakovec, best night of the week. Let's go. It is the best night of the week, at least for me. Stogie Sister, welcome in. Adam Wolf, how are you doing? Bob Ellis, how are you? Bob Ellis, you know Bob Ellis was in like a pickleball tournament over the weekend?
Was he really?
He was, and there's a picture of him on Facebook. It was like almost Air Jordan, but the other way. Instead of like going forward, it was kind of bent like that sign. But it was impressive. He's got some hops.
He's got some hops, kind of like you with the caver.
Jay Bates, what's going on? Matthew Brugger, how are you doing this evening? Michael Zachary said last week was awesome. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I honestly do hate that I wasn't able to be here in studio with you guys. But that sinus infection kicked my booty. But I wanted to make sure completely that I was ready for tonight. I still got a little bit of nasal congestion going on, still a little bit of phlegm every once in a while. Hopefully I keep the coughs down. I have my drinks over here to help suppress any of that. Now, Bob, I want to know, actually, we'll wait. No, we'll go ahead and get into it so we don't have to interrupt our guests in a minute. What are you smoking this evening?
Right now, I am working on a Dojo Undercrown 10, or the Undercrown Dojo. And then as soon as I'm done, I'm going to grab this Silver Mesa Brulee. I'm going to go light on it a little bit, but I am looking forward to all the conversations. So I want a cigar that I knew that I could sit down for a while, because I think there's going to be some talking going on.
Well, it is called Chief Talk. I am smoking a Liga Privada H99 Toro. It's not a Toro anymore because I started smoking it earlier. I should have waited, but it's an H99. I can't wait when it comes to H99.
I agree.
Mac Bergson says, BTCG always a man.
I love that,
for
Mac
the
Bergson.
People. Jason, how are you going? How are you doing this evening? He says, you're his hero. Rick Carroll, how are you doing this evening? And Bob Ellis, we're caught up on the comments. And one of my buddies asked if I landed. Okay, you had to call air traffic control to make sure you had clearance to get up that high. I mean, you're up there with the Apache helicopters.
Oh, Lord.
My boy, all the way in California. Hey, fam, Supremo Tobacco. Hey, how are you doing
man
this evening? But without further ado, I would like to bring on our guests. We have Rick Carroll says smoking the Year of the Tiger from Drew Estate. Ooh,
wow,
fancy boy. I do want to bring on our two guests this evening.
A twofer.
And I tell you what, I got to call one Mike and one Michael, or I got to call them by their last names because they're both Michaels, and I don't want to, get them confused, get myself confused, get Bob confused. It's easy to get Bob confused.
We should have put some M&Ms in the green room.
Should we have?
Michael and Michael.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
M.
But without further ado, before the train gets too far off the rails, we have Mr. QI himself, Mr. Michael Giordano, and Mr. Michael Giannini. Fellas, how are you doing this evening?
How's it going, guys? I love that intro. And it just reminds me of like the sitcoms that I used to watch like in the 80s. Like, like coming home from school and like watching it in the beginning, they'd be kind of like rolling the credits on the screen and someone would be kind of like posing in front. That's classic. That's I've never seen anything like that. And Bob, I just want to mention, when you were talking about the cigars that you're going to smoke, I'm here with a 64 Exclusivo, but I also have, do you recognize this?
My man.
Right there. So
that's what I'm talking about.
How about you, Giannini? What do you got? The conspiracy.
Oh, the conspiracy.
Yeah.
What is that?
What is that? Yeah, you'll have to talk about
What
that.
is that? Ooh.
Yeah, we the conspiracy is definitely one on the list. Now,
I'm ready.
Mr. Giannini told us earlier that it was face melting hot outside earlier, and that he did not want his cigar to suffer in the heat. So he's taking one for the team this evening, and he's in Chateau de Giannini. And so
I may walk outside and you'll just watch me sweat, and the cigar will just
you just turn on a fan. I got a fan on.
Yeah,
it's fine.
There you go. Welcome, hey guys. Thanks for having us on, Bob and Chief. What a pleasure. I haven't seen you since PCA, and Chief, I haven't seen you in dog years. So glad we were able to connect.
It has been a while. I was kind of bummed this year missing you at PCA because Bob and I had set up. So this year we had decided that we were going to go to PCA a day early because last year was our first year ever at PCA. And we flew in the day of the very first night, the party night. And by the time we got to the hotel, got everything checked in, got all of our bags and stuff put away, it was like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And then we ended up staying through the whole entire show. And it was like, man, I wish we could have, all this spare time we have on the last day, I wish we could have tacked it on to the beginning. And so this year we decided, okay, why don't we get in a day early? And then since PCA is shortening the trade show to 3 actual days, we'll just get in all of our interviews that we can on Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll peace out on Monday since everybody's going to be gone anyways. And then so next year it's like, okay, why don't we tack on a day at the beginning and a day at the end? So we're learning as we go, but yes, I hated that I didn't get to come over to the Quality Importers booth this year like I had last year. But during that time, Bob took off and he was working y'all's way, and I was working the other side of the show floor, trying to hem up some stuff and finish some video stuff because I take care of all of the most of the video.
And that's why he's the editor in chief. Now I got to tell you, when we went to that, the greatest thing we did about that first night at PCA when we went to the PCA party is we walked up to the Quality Importers booth and we got the Palio when it first came out. And I said, Joe Grow gave it to me, and he goes, this will light 50 cigars. And I said, Joe, come on now. And he goes, no, I'm serious. Try it. And so what I did literally is I put a piece of masking tape. I mean, we're country here. We do it the simple way. I put a piece of masking tape on it and I threw it on my desk. And every time I would light a cigar, toast and light a cigar, no Lanceros, full size cigars. Every time I put a mark, I got to 63 cigars before I had to refill this thing.
Hey, Michael, make sure we update the marketing piece on 63, not 50.
And I loved it so much. Stephen loved it so much. That was the one we went with our first branded lighter from y'all, the first branded lighter that we've ever done. We just fell in love with this thing. This is a daily workhorse right here. Now, I like this side a whole lot better. We have this side on there as well. It's not too shabby,
Here,
but I got to tell you.
Here, flip that thing back around real quick.
Yeah. There we go.
Look at that. Wow.
Wow,
Wow, that's beautiful.
Didn't you?
I sure did.
Now that lighter that you're showing, Mr. Giannini, that's the lighter that Bob the Cigar Guy is tempted with for our next go around.
Well, I'm not going to tell you anything about it yet, and I'm going to tell you that you don't have to wait till New Orleans to actually try the trade show, but just dropping some hints there. I'm sure everybody out there is going to be like, what's he talking about? So just dropping 2 hints. So now, 63, right, Michael? Right?
63.
This is 150.
Well, it's 150 based on hours, but if we give it to Bob, it may be over 200.
I was going to say, you might be able to push 2 bills on that.
Well, I've been playing with this thing. I'm gonna put my little tape on the back of it and see where this one goes, because this thing, it's got the that quad. I mean, look at that thing, and it comes to a pencil point. Fantastic, big dial on the bottom. It's got an easy, but you can eat barbecue and still light your cigar, and that's one of my checks, because I've had some
barbecue.
I've had some. Oh Lord, where'd I go?
Hey, if your barbecue runs out of fuel, you can cook with that.
Well, I eat pretty good. I don't know if I want to wait that long.
You could light your
or you want
4th of July fireworks next week with that.
Yeah.
Or if you got creme brulee, you make creme brulee. Yeah,
a piece of bacon. That'd be a good.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Good review. We could see.
But this is
what we could cook with it.
Well, that would be
This
great
is
to
called-
see the alternative uses for it, because it's not just to light cigars.
That's right.
I like that.
So yeah. So everybody knows what this is. Yes, it looks like a lightsaber. So all you Star Wars fans, you need to have one of these. If you're not really truly a Star Wars fan. But this is called the Palio Veneto. It is, like we said. Listen, I know this is the marketing sales pitch, guys. So hang on. Quad flame. Put your cigar on it. Cigar rest.
Put it on camera.
Will
You got to get it on camera, Mike. There you go.
So look at that. It's probably about, all right, relax, everybody. It's about 6 inches long. Okay. It's got a push button on it. Okay. This tank, you can see through it. It comes 5 different colors. It will light 150 cigar large ring gauges. Think about that. 7.5 boxes. So, Lou, you can buy a can of butane, fill this thing up, and by the time next year, you don't have to fill it up. That's crazy. I don't know how many cigars you guys smoke, but think about 150 cigars with 7.5 boxes, how long it takes you to do that.
That's
so one fill. Right? Think about that. That's crazy, right?
That is.
Yeah.
Now you say I don't know how many cigars you smoke. Bob the Cigar Guy is notorious for like when we go and do cigar event things of like trying to see how much air he can't breathe and to see how much cigar smoke he can put into the ozone. The Greenpeace actually has a hit out on Bob the Cigar Guy right now through the TSA. But no, that is a fantastic line. Now before we continue to go down this, I do want to give you guys a couple seconds to kind of introduce yourselves, who you are. We'll get into some some viewer questions and some of the stuff that we've had prepared off to the side here. But I would love for the both of you to have a little bit of the spotlight early on in the show while we have 25 concurrent viewers right now across both Facebook and YouTube.
Fantastic.
We've got a whole bunch of reactions coming in. Obviously, comments are rolling in. But I will start off with Michael, Mr. Giordano. Am I pronouncing? Is it Giordano or Giordano?
Giordano.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring you up full screen. So don't get wigged out when you see you're the only one on the screen. We're all here with you. But I would love for you to kind of give us an introduction to not only what Quality Importers is, the brainchild and the birth behind it, but also just who you are. Obviously, you're in the cigar accessory game, but you also are a cigar smoker. So we'd love to get a little bit of insight to who you are, and then Mr. Giannini will switch over to you as soon as the other Michael has told us his eloquent story.
Sure. And if there's any feedback that's coming through, I would encourage to mention the notable ones because whenever I'm on a live and I chime in, it doesn't always seem to get recognized. So I think it's important for people to be heard and then also for us to respond. So don't feel that you're being rude or anything, chiming in with any of that. I started Quality Importers in February of 2000. So that makes us this year 24 years in the accessory business of the premium cigar industry. I started the company in New York, where I'm from. And late 2001, moved down to South Florida and have been here since. And what we were looking to do at the time was come into the industry with the know-how that I had at the time of importing products. And to my surprise, not knowing what we were getting into, and they say that when you don't know any better, that's probably the best time to do it because you don't know what could go wrong or what has gone wrong. And when we came into the industry, anything made in the Far East on the accessory side of the industry, after the boom was kind of looked at very poorly. And I realized that very quickly what we needed to do was we needed to bring value to the trade. So as wholesalers, we were selling to the retailer, selling to wholesalers and distributors, and also providing swag on a small basis to the cigar manufacturers. And no one knew who we were. A lot of people in this industry are here for a very long time, especially those who are making the cigars. And I realized very quickly that what we needed to do is understand that no matter what we grow the company into, we're always going to be the support to the industry, the accessory to the industry, no pun intended. We sell accessories and we're also an accessory to the industry. And what I mean by that is, if we're doing the full scope of what we need to do, we are providing cigar stores and cigar manufacturers with ways to support selling cigars. And the biggest way of doing that is with the humidor. And we started out with humidors, and as a matter of fact, for the first 5 years of our business, that's all we sold were cigar humidors. And we learned that a lot of stores at that time, right after the boom, were stuck with humidors that just weren't of weren't of a quality that you can actually call it a humidor. Technically, anything that seals and holds humidity is going to be classified as a humidor. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a wooden box with cedar on the inside, but for cigars, that's suitable. So we started to make our way through the industry, and we started to realize that in addition to being competitive, we had to have selection. We had to make it easy to buy. The first humidors that we were buying from a distributor in Jersey, we would have to buy the humidor, and then we'd have to buy a separate hygrometer and a humidifier and a divider and a tray, and everything was a la carte. And I said, well, this is gonna drive me crazy. How's somebody going to easily buy this? The first thing we did was standardize the small, the medium, and the large desktop models, starting from, say, 10 to 25 cigars, 50 and 100 cigars, and like 200 to 300 cigar capacities. And you would buy the humidor, it would come with everything that you need. And from there, and that seems kind of simple right now because it's been like that for many years. But when we first started, it wasn't. So we standardized the humidors. And then I realized that in order for us to really get the word out there, without having a ground team to cover all of the states across the country, we were going to need to make our products available online. They were going to have to be at prices that were going to be conducive to the buyer being able to still have money left over to buy their cigars, so they had cigars to put in it. And right there at that point, I said, okay, we're not going to make these mega expensive models. We want to make humidors that are going to satisfy the masses. So that, in a nutshell, is how we started.
I love the idea behind that, the draw behind that of making it more accessible. I love when one of the things that we talk about here on the show a lot is I love being a part of brands or tethering myself to brands who want to be involved with the community, the cigar smoking community, the cigar smoking culture, the humidor community, things like, when it comes to lounges and whatnot, and being able, while I think exclusive things are really neat and cool, because you might get one for a gift, or you might be able to splurge on some money to be able to pull, a really cool lighter, or a really cool cutter, or a stand-up tall humidor, things like that you can put in your man cave or your she shed, things like that. But the fact that the drive is an inclusive to the cigar community instead of an exclusive thing, I really respect a lot of that. So I love hearing that. Now, Mr. Giannini, big follow there with that, right? We'd love to not only hear about your involvement with quality importers, but also just your involvement with the cigar community and the culture abroad, because you've been in the game a long time, and you've been very influential in the game a very long time. So we'd love to give you a chance to take away a little bit as well.
All right, well, strap in, because here we go. All right. Born and raised in Philly. My parents are off the boat from Italy. Cool way to grow up. My parents, like all young kids, I wanted cool stuff. So I'm into sports, wanted to get equipment. My parents are like, listen, we got food on the table, clothes on your back. You want to go get stuff. It's the American dream. Go get a job. So underage, 14, 15 years old, I started working at a restaurant, completely different than the Italian food I was used to. Became a pot washer. Worst job in a restaurant, because the chefs just screw with you and they burn all the pots just because they want to make you supper. So, but I did it really well, and I would always run to see what the chef was doing, so I was really curious. Got promoted to a dishwasher, a little bit better. Watched, I would run over, chef, what are you doing? He's like, kid, you're interested? Let me teach you about this stuff. Well, by the time I was 18 years old, I learned that I got called by the manager, and he's like, Giannini, you know the recipes, you're cooking tonight. And I'm like, man, I'm that great. I'm like patting myself on the back. What I come to find out was the head chef and a young lady were having an afternoon delight. They got caught I got promoted. That's how I went. But my parents were like, hey, you ain't going to be a chef. You need to go to school. Went to school, got a psych and minored in biology. I was teaching mentally retarded, mentally ill kids. My goal was to get a PhD in psychology. And I said to myself, I'm going to be the next greatest psychoanalyst. I need a tweed jacket and a pipe. I walked into a smoke shop 3 straight Fridays for 3 straight months. A young guy said to me one day, man, you're always well dressed. What do you do? And I'm like, bro, I teach during the day. I'm working on my master's at night and I cook on the weekends. He goes, I need a lighted on pipe tobacco. So this is like 20 years old. And that started my career. From there, we ended up buying a store together. I became an independent manufacturer's rep. So I left Philadelphia. I would travel 3 weeks on the road, 3,000 miles by myself in a car with a calling card and a map. Then I opened up Ohio, upstate Pennsylvania. So I became a sales guy. But when I was out in the stores, I could tell my retailer friends who still are in existence today, man, I got retail shops in the Philly market. I know what you go through. Here's the stuff that's going to sell. Long and short of it, sold a cigar boom come in the 90s, ended in 97, made a lot of money. But I didn't want to be a broker anymore because as soon as you get a line, you lose a line. So I got approached by Ashton. I got to move out of Philadelphia because I couldn't stand the weather. I got to move to Florida, where I am now. And I went from 33 states that I covered to 8 states, was bored out of my mind because I knew everybody, grew my territory. And then this gentleman who I knew about was Ernesto Perez Carrillo. He was looking for somebody. So I became national sales manager. And at that point, young and dumb, I thought I knew everything until I walked into his factory. And I'm like, man, I don't know anything about cigars. So long and short of it, he was my first mentor in the cigar industry, worked with Ernesto for over 10 years. We merged in with General Cigar, which became Swedish Match, STG. I ended up becoming head of innovations, which meant I blended and worked on all the packaging for all the major brands. A lot of that stuff still in the marketplace that I created. Retired in 2016 because of the deeming regs. That's a whole nother conversation. Got up, went to California. So I retired for a year, went to California, ran a cigar company out of there until COVID showed up. And here's where it really gets interesting. So in 2018, I was working the East Coast of Florida and working with my sales guys. And like, hey, we should go see Quality Importers. They're doing some cool stuff with customization. So this is the first time I met Michael Giordano. And cool guy, we went in just to say hello. We ended up walking out with some projects. The problem was we did XOs, and actually I might have one here. I put it away. And all my guys in the office were stealing this XO cutter, which was branded with the brand that I was representing at the time. And I'm like, guys, this is for our retailers and our consumers. So it really went over big. So COVID hit. I retired again, living in California, on lockdown, hanging out in Malibu, having a great time. And then one day I was just working out and walking. That was my life, really enjoying what I could in California. And one day I was so exhausted, I actually went on to LinkedIn, and a gentleman that I know my entire life was Alex Goldman, who is now president and CEO and COO. No, sorry, president and COO. And I reached out to him like, dude, what are you doing at Quality Importers? Like, you're a premium guy. He's like, no, man, this is a really cool location. And he's like, well, are you interested in something? And I'm like, well, he just called me that night. He goes, you need to speak to the owner. So I remember speaking to Michael Giordano, who I had met. Great conversation. He's like, get your ass to South Florida. So I was there on a Tuesday. This all happened within a week. Spent the day. And I walked in and I'm like, oh my God. This is 43,000 square feet of amazing accessories and office space. And the swag bunker had come to life. And I'm like, oh my God. It was just amazing. I was blown away by what happened. But the story that Michael didn't tell you was, I don't know if you guys are fans of Steve Jobs, but when he passed away, the genius author, Walter Isaacson, I actually read his book. And you're like, oh, it's cool. Him and Wozniak started a computer company in a garage. And Michael's telling me the story. I'll never forget this on a Wednesday. He's like, yeah, man, I started with 15 grand in my mom's living room with humidors. I'm like, what? I'm like, dude, you don't meet people like this. And that really attracted me to what he had built. So by the time I landed in LA, what they said they were going to do, I had a job offer, and I literally sat on my couch and I'm like, oh, this is real. So I'm leaving the premium side and I'm like, yeah, this is fun. Because my entire career, when I would do brands, I always needed swag. And what Quality Importers was doing was the opportunity for everybody to get brand their own brands without having to buy like enormous amounts of container loads of stuff. So I've been with them for 2.5 years. This is my 42nd year in the cigar industry. But what's even more amazing about this organization, which we'll probably touch on, Michael and Alex, they basically always wanted to do a cigar brand, which Michael Giordano had done prior, but we actually came out with a cigar brand. So think about this. We got an accessory company that has all the major brands, okay? You want a lighter cutter, humidor, inexpensive cutter, you want a cigar caddy, you want anything in the industry, we're a one-stop shop. We have all the major brands. And then, so now what? We're going to add a cigar because we can do that. And we'll talk about how we actually package that. But we're not done. We also have, Michael started a wine brand. So think about this. You got an accessory company that has a cigar brand, that has a wine brand, and some other cool stuff coming down the pipe. Nobody as innovative as what I've seen in the cigar side or on this side of the world. So my time there has been nothing but fun, and it still continues to be fun. So there you go, guys.
Well, you've already ushered us into the conspiracy cigar. You showed a little bit of a teaser of it earlier. About the cigar guy, you got a little pamphlet up there where you can show the conspiracy. Mr. Giannini actually has it there with him. I'd love to hear. Hearing about it from my father is one thing. Hearing about it from other people on the internet is one thing. But hearing about it from the think tank itself is, I would be a fool not to go straight to the source. I'd love for you guys to talk a little bit about the conspiracy cigar, and then obviously we'd love to hear about the wine as well.
So I'd like Michael to kick off because he actually sold cigars probably 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, so doing the accessories for as long as we have, and like I said earlier, how we were going to be the support side of the cigar business, we sell hard goods. And if you buy a well-made cigar accessory, and especially with Xikar now, having purchased Xikar with their warranty, you're going to have a customer who hopefully will contact you if there's a problem with it, and it'll go through the warranty and we'll warrant it. A cigar is a consumable item, so you keep making cigars, people keep buying them, they keep smoking them, you keep making more. And I said to myself, we're in this business, we have the ability with all of these brands that we've acquired over the years and the ones that we've started, and we have the Swag Bunker department, which is our branded department that promotes all of our accessories with printing. We can laser engrave and etch all types of materials. We can do dye sublimation printing. We can do UV printing. We do a lot of printing for the cigar industry and also the sports industry through Fanatics, which is super huge on that side of the world. And we now have a spot where we say, okay, what's next? And I'm like, well, think about it. We have Alex Goldman and Mike Giannini, which is close to at least 80, 90 years worth of experience in the cigar tobacco side of the business. And they're here with us, and we're supporting all of the cigar makers. Why not come out with a cigar? So before they came, and what Michael was talking about, what I did before, I had a brand, still have a brand called Cult. And we launched the Cult, and it was getting out there. At that time, I didn't have the personnel in the company that could really bring it to where it is, but now we do. So when Michael and Alex said, hey, listen, I think if we're going to do this project with this trademark you have for conspiracy, what we need to do is we need to find someone who's going to make it to the standards that need it to be made, because people are going to look at us like, well, you're a Me Too with a cigar. Like, we've got to get past that. The first go around, and we got one shot at it. So that's what brought us here to launch a cigar.
Now, with the cigar, and I don't know if this is proprietary information or if you guys have got this under lock and key, but with the conspiracy cigar, and the idea behind it, with wanting to not just put something out there that's willy nilly, willy frilly, who is manufacturing that for you guys? Are you guys manufacturing that? Have you created your own team to harvest and roll and cure, or are you guys working through another cigar conglomerate?
So I don't know if you guys realize this, but Michael Giordano is the Steve Jobs of the accessory and now cigar thing. Okay. He knows how to maximize products to a point that they're affordable and everybody wins in the situation. So the funny story is last September, the first question we all asked each other is like, when are we going to do a cigar? And the organization wasn't ready to do it, as Michael mentioned. So I guess it was last September, I got called into Alex's office and I'm like, oh shit, man, sorry, I'm cursed. I did something, I'm in trouble. And he's like, close the door. And I'm like, oh, geez. He goes, hey, we're doing a cigar. He's like, you know who we're going to call? I'm like, absolutely, who we're going to call. Michael's in. Cool. So my first call was Ernesto Perez Carrillo. It's funny how Michael always says there's no coincidences in life. Like, we were all meant to be at Quality Importers at the same time. And all these life paths that we've traveled upon have now led us to a point where things just happen because there's an energy level out there that vibrates. So I made the call to Ernesto. I'm like, hey, man, this is my third project working with him on this. So you've got a 3 or 4 time #1 cigar of the year. You've got one of the Hall of Famers, one of the last of his generation of cigar masters. And we tapped his shoulder and he's like, Michael, what are you doing? You're doing this with Michael Giordano and Alex Goldman. He goes, I'm in. You want to know what the project is? I really don't care. I trust you guys. I love you guys. Yes, I'm in. So literally from September to probably December, Alex, myself, and Michael, we literally went through tons and tons of blends, but we did it pretty quickly. Usually this takes a long time, right? My experience typically when I would launch a brand would take me about 45 days to really know what I had. And if you didn't get it right, you started over again. So 45 days times 3 times, your half the year is gone. We did it pretty quickly because our palates are like in tune. So we got that done. They were aged over the holidays in December. We were able to pull the packaging. But the stroke of genius that this team, which Michael is exactly to the identity of Quality Importers is. And his saying is, we are the vehicle to help you sell cigars. And what's he mean by that? When I would do cigar brands and do events, like I always joke, like I dropped the album and go on tour. So I would do events all around the country. And I always had to have swag. And some of this stuff was okay. And some was really cool. I wish I'd known Quality Importers was really around back then and humming like it is now, because the opportunities to be able to do really, really cool things. I to this day, I go nuts with the ideas. But the idea is like, hey, Michael, what do I need to do to buy 2 boxes? Because I really want that lighter or that ashtray or that really cool humidor that you have. And so this is the vehicle to help sell some more cigars. So what we did is we used our own Quality Importers packaging. We're using our own humidors. We're using our own cutters. We're using our own lighters. That's how the product is packaged. And when you buy just cigars from us, we're basically giving you the swag. The swag is all conspiracy based. It is changing. That's the conspiracy about this. Everything changes. So you can't order, like, I want this specific cutter, you ain't getting it. I want this specific humidor, you can't order it. We're going to send you what we want to send you. And it is just this rotating thing. The brand concept is, like Michael said, this is a brand he's had, and he has an IP for it and a trademark for it. So for us, it's kind of fun. Michael's been in it 24 years. His wife, Marilyn, is involved. Alex is 40 years. I'm 42. Ernesto's 50 plus, and his son, Ernie's involved. So we're close to like 200 years. We've done this before. We've launched in the same industry, different products. We've been very successful at it. So our idea is we got a cigar master with multiple #1s, credibility. We have connections to him that go way back. He makes an amazing cigar out of Casa Carrillo. We have the greatest swag on the planet. We're putting it in that, and we're just having a lot of fun with it. This ain't about who shot Kennedy or what's this conspiracy. We're just saying, guys, it is what it is. We're not getting into it, but we're going to have fun with it. And so we're launching this in a couple weeks, probably sooner than that. And you're going to see some really fun, edgy kind of stuff. So if you've seen stuff I've done in my past life, wait till you see when we have these minds behind it, how we're really going to amp this up and really stand out. But if you really think about this, there is nobody in the industry that has used their own products, meaning swag, and their own products to package their cigars. And we're basically giving you the swag for free. So it's an event kit in a box every day.
I got to tell you, when I was at PCA and I went up to the booth, I got a conspiracy cigar put in my hand, and I said, all right, let's see what this does. And the construction was on point. It was fantastic. You know, you get a cigar that got traveled to Vegas for an event. Sometimes you don't get the best, and this thing was on point. But the thing that I really, really enjoyed about it, it was complexly subtle. There was a lot of different notes and flavors you could pull from it, but they were all subtle. They worked well in harmony. It was a great blend. And so then I was smoking it, and I spent about a half an hour talking with the gentleman about it. And I was so enthralled with the idea, because if you buy one cigar, you're going to get a cutter. If you buy 5 cigars, you're going to get a different piece of swag. If you buy 10 cigars, and it goes up. And so it's not like you have to pull the trigger on 10 cigars to get a piece of swag and hope that you like the cigars. It's a easy, you know, the pool has got a nice slope to it. So you can just kind of get in there and you can test the waters and find out that this is just in your wheelhouse. And then the swag is so on point. It is fantastic. I got to see all the swag. I got to play around with it a little bit, and it's all top quality. It's not like let's put the less expensive things out so that we can just get this in people's hands. This cigar is a solid cigar. A cigar on its own, it's a great cigar, but the fact that you can up your swag, and let's face it, it's nice to have matching gear. It's nice to have something branded from the cigar that you're smoking when you go out to the lounge, or you got to take a picture of everything. You got to put on social media. It didn't happen. And be able to put that stuff right next to that cigar just makes you feel like a boss. At least it does me. I'm a cigar nerd and a swag geek. So I really love the concept. I've never heard this concept before. And as soon as I heard it, as soon as we talked about it, I was like, I'm on board. How can I help? What can I do to help promote this? Because I think this is really going to give consumers an opportunity to elevate their lifestyle in a budget-friendly way, where you are smoking cigars that are way above the price point that you're paying for them. Y'all knocked it out of the park. I really, really did. And I think Mr. Giannini had something to do with all the logos and design. It just looks like it's got that little pinstripey Giannini flair. I don't know if that's true or not. I hope it is, because I don't want to look like a fool. But I've looked like a fool before, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, no, you're not a fool. As a matter of fact, a call came in today for Giannini from De Beers, and they were looking for some inventory. So there's no doubt about what the flair that he brings to the table. But to expound upon what you were saying, Bob, my concept was, because look, in business, every business in this industry, other industries, we hit a ceiling at a certain point, and we're like, okay, how are we going to break through this? So stepping back and taking inventory of what we do and how we do it became important, because we're all lost in our own forest, right? So I said, we have all these brands, and we have the ability in-house to mark all of these brands with anything, as long as we have the art. We have an art department that creates art. So we can really be completely self-sufficient in creating not only a swag storm of sorts, but also the selling of this product into the trade is also creating awareness for every other cigar manufacturer to see that they can do this too. And that was the key.
That makes sense.
Now, I do want to say, Mr. Giannini, you had said that you had, that you were in the combined 200 years of experience. You don't look a day over 48. So,
Thank you. I love you. I love it.
Don't let any of them try to knock you down and say, "Oh, look, here comes the old timer." No, Giannini's got it on point.
Listen, I'll take you to the gym and I'll put you to shame. There you go. That's my challenge to anybody out there.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I've been since January. I've gotten back into the gym and I've been
fantastic.
I've been working out. I compete. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what the Highland Games are.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Scottish Games. And so I got back into the gym just to get back into shape and be healthy, take back control over the things that I can control. And one of the things that kind of drives me is I've got to have a goal. If I don't have a goal, I will lose interest. It's part of my ADHD side of my brain, or at least that's what my wife tells me. But so I had thrown years ago, back in my younger days when I was still in the gym way back then before I had kids. So I've got 3 kids now. That took a toll, and all the food and all the eating and the sleepless nights. But no, hey man, I can't wait to see Mr. Giannini because I want to go have a workout session with Mr. Giannini because I've been
come on down. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have fun.
Now I'm training for that.
Chief mentioned Scottish games, right? So don't they do the caber toss?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hey, listen, Mike, just understand that if you show him up in the gym, you're gonna have to go toss, do the caber toss, and you may fail at that. You're Italian.
Look,
I will.
I will. Lighters that you guys are building, you might make a caber-sized sidecar lighter soon. You can light 10,000 cigars.
We're getting there.
I'll tell you what, Michael. I plan to come back out of retirement and do the Highland Games again, starting next year. And so there's a seniors league, and so you can join me in the seniors league, and we can let them young kids. We still flip phone poles, and we still throw heavy things. And we still get to wear a kilt, which is very freeing. I got to tell you, just don't trip and fall. That's not a good thing. But you can hang out with me, and we can smoke cigars and flip some phone poles.
Now,
I love that.
To get back on to cigar.
But here, can I just say something?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So what I said earlier, and this is the beauty of working with super talented, experienced people. Like, thank you for the kudos, but listen, I'm only as good as the people I'm associated with. And to be able to have Michael's blessing and his mind involved with this, and Alice's experience from a whole different perspective, and me having a different perspective, and Ernesto and his son from a different perspective. When you put that powerhouse brain power together, I mean, this was thought about so easily. In isolation of that, like, we all have our fingerprints all over this. And when you look at this cigar, you're going to see some Easter eggs in it in the secondary band that is going to blow you away. So I just want to say that in my years in this business, it's always a great team. And if you don't have a great team, you get nowhere. So kudos to all these wonderful people. And thank you to Michael, because he could say, you know what, I don't want to do this, but he's not that guy. He is very open to doing really cool, fun stuff. So I just wanted to say that.
And that's an added recipe for success. I mean,
absolutely.
If you don't have that type of mesh, that type of gel, the route to success is going to be a little bit slower as if you do have that gel. Now, with the extensive experience you have within the premium cigar industry as well, did you take any of that knowledge of your expertise in tobacco and also add that in, or did you just let Ernesto just take it and go with the blend?
So, funniest thing, this is my third project with him. I worked very closely with him when we worked in the La Gloria brand. Alex actually came with me on one trip, and he finally said, "You guys talk a different language." And I'm like, "Well, doesn't everybody talk that?" So, the thing about Ernesto, he's an interesting guy because he always tests my palate, and he loves my palate. And I literally would say to him, like, "Ernesto, really?" Like, he goes, "Yeah, okay. All right. Ernesto, this doesn't have this, or it doesn't have that. It's not rounded enough." It's got too much Seiko in it. There's not enough Lajero in it. It's one dimensional, all that. And that's the relationship that we have. But I think he's always trying to test my palate, and he already knows what the answer is. He just wants to get it validated. But the true thing is, okay, so that's one piece of it. But, you know, smoking these, like, I don't like to know what the cigars are. And I know when Michael and Alex would smoke these blends, like, we didn't talk to each other. We just did it on our own. And then we came to, like, okay, we all like these two blends. And that's when you know you have something really cool. Because we're all sitting in a room and, you know, you look at somebody and they give you a look and you read their facial expression. Well, I think he likes that one. I don't know if I like it. Like, we're all strong personalities that we could all do this in isolation and say, what do you like? What do you like? What do you like? And we came to the same consensus. So that's fun. So, you know, there's only 3 sizes, 2 different wrappers. And again, we're being smart about this because we are not museum. We are here to sell product. So everybody out there watching this, buy our cigars. You will not be disappointed. 3 sizes, 550, 652, 650, 660, Ecuadorian Connecticut, Mexican San Andres. That's what sells. We know that's what the market wants. I, Michael, Alex, and our team of people that smoke in the office, we all smoke one of those sizes. So if you're looking for a Lonsdale, we're not doing that right now. If you're looking for a Lancero, we're not doing that. We want to get our cigars out there. We want cigars that you guys are going to be able to purchase, and we want you to enjoy our product.
Now,
does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
I mean, I could wax poetic about tobacco and all that. You want to know what the fillers are? That's part of the conspiracy. We're not telling.
Right. No, and it really wasn't more of trying to find out, you know, what the blend is, more of a how much of your expertise was kind of like, did you lend into the blending process? But no, that answers it perfectly, which kind of leads me into another question is like with the 2 wrappers, which you said, you know, are very well selling wrappers, and they are. I mean, every year when I look at my top 20 list that I publish, when Bob Cigar does his top 20 list that he publishes as well, Mexican San Andreas is always close to half, 50% of all. I'm more of the Ecuadorian Habano.
Yep.
Ecuadorian Habano has really, I never thought, if I would have sat down and, you know, put on and said, okay, I'm going to like this one, and this one, I don't think I ever would have chosen Ecuadorian Habano. I tend to smoke a lot of broadleaf. I love a lot of broadleaf, Mexican San Andreas, and some the Brazilian Matafina. But you know, when it comes to that Ecuadorian Habano, whatever, I don't know what it is about it. The smoothness, the creaminess, whatever, it really gets a hold of me. I enjoy it. But with the 2 wrappers and the 3 different sizes, is there? And I'll ask Mr. Giordano first. Is there one that you find yourself smoking more, or are you just so happy with both of them that you're smoking them all equally?
Well, to speak about the blending choosing process, the one when anyone has a number of cigar samples in front of them and you take a puff, you switch, you take a puff, you take a puff. Generally, the one that I smoke the most of, even before I may centrally realize that that's the one I like, I look at the cigars that I smoke the most of, and then I go back to that and I really investigate that one, and that's usually the one that I pick. As far as the 2, I actually enjoy smoking both, depending on what flavor mood I'm in.
Okay.
The misconception that I've noticed over the years in this industry is that there are people who will look at a dark wrapper and think that it's strong automatically. And when I explain to them that, like, look at like a fruit, like a banana, you know, it starts out green like a tobacco leaf, then it starts to then it starts to have some age on, and it turns yellow, and then it turns brown, and then it turns black. So Maduro, meaning ripe, doesn't necessarily mean strong. Now, you can pack the cigar with strong tobaccos and make it strong. You could do that with a light wrapper too. But the thing is that to be able to get them to understand that, just like going back to accessories, and to get them to understand that just because it's made in Asia doesn't mean that it's not good. There's this misconception that happens from experience, and you got to get past that experience. And that's why today, compared to when I first got in the industry, the consumer is massively more aware and educated on the products in this industry than they ever were before.
I 100% agree with that. And one of the things that I kind of cross over to is in the past few years, I have developed a lot of friendships online with people in Europe. And the European cigar industry or cigar smoking side still is massively dominated by the Cuban market, but the Cuban market is starting to give way to the more new world cigars because people are starting to become more educated about cigar tobacco that's not just Cuban tobacco. And you're absolutely, you hit the nail right on the head with the, just because it's a Maduro doesn't mean that it's, you need to smoke this, after you've, hopped down an 18-ounce steak and you've had 6 sodas in you to balance it all out. No, you can have Connecticut cigars that are going to smoke you under a bus before that Maduro ever will. It just has to do with that balance out. When I think of Maduro, I don't always think of strong. I think of like a flavor powerhouse in a sense of full flavor versus full body. And for so long, it was everybody just, whenever you said full flavor or full body, everybody just kind of put them together as the same exact thing.
Or medium body, full flavor is what I look to achieve, whether we're releasing a product in the market or whether I'm going to go and spend an hour and smoke a cigar myself.
Right. And that lends to say that, with this project, with the conspiracy, that you guys aren't just putting something out, throwing it to see if it lands, right? You're not just throwing it out there. Like, this is a well thought out process by cigar heads for the cigar community, just exactly like quality importers, like we talked about, like you were talking about earlier, with we're not just trying to throw this out there and, get just a certain type of clientele to buy it. We're putting stuff out all across the board so that everybody can buy it. And that's something that a couple cigar manufacturers do that I really respect. And I love that they have $40 cigars, but they also have $40 cigars because they're not trying to just scrimp on one side of the market. It's cigars by the people for the people, kind of sort of a thing. And
Chief, to your point, one of the main things that I said to both Alex and Giannini is that you're part of an accessory company, accessory dominated for sure, and you're both from the premium space. And if you are launching a cigar from a cigar company, it's going to be received differently right off the bat because it's a cigar company. You're launching a cigar from a predominantly heavy accessory company, and there's going to be a little headwind because of that. And in addition to that, because of where you are in your careers and in this industry, people who know you are going to expect something that is going to be not just like you said, throwing it out there to see what happens. So I had a talk with them and Michael specifically, and I said, look, I don't know how many more projects we'll do, but if this is the one and only project, it's got to hit because this is your legacy too.
Right. And I think that's one of the cool things and the special thing behind it is there is going to be a sort of preconceived notion going into the cigar when the cigar hits humidors of, well, what does quality importers or what does Xikar know about cigars? Right? They know about lighters and cutters, Well, let me give the cigar a shot. And then if they're not familiar with the idea that you have, like you guys said, 200 years of premium cigar experience behind the blend, once they get a hold of that cigar, they're going to be like, holy crap, why didn't they come out with this sooner? Right? Hope we get more. And that's something that I'm hoping, happens for the thing. Because again, people who I like to tie myself to people, and we were kind of talking about this before the show started in the green room, is, Dad and I, and I'll actually just speak for myself here, and I think he'll echo the same sentiments. I don't think I'll speak out of turn. We like to tie ourselves to people who aren't just here for the hit it and quit it, jump
Absolutely.
in, jump out, be done. We're in it for the people who want to be here for the lasting run, who are going to create a product that they're proud to stand behind, not just oh, well, we tried it. It didn't land, so we're not going to do it anymore. And everybody who spent their money on these things, well, hopefully they'll come back. No, it's a well thought out first idea of we want to not only provide you guys with the best, quality accessories out there, we also want to start dabbling in the premium game so that we can give you guys what we feel is some of the best smokable tobacco that you can get as well. And I love that. I appreciate that.
And
to your point, Chief, about, and it's true. What does quality importers or Xikar know about cigars? Well, there are masterminds making cigars out there, and we don't claim to be those, but we do claim to be experts at storing cigars, humidifying cigars, cutting cigars and lighting cigars, and the needs that someone has in traveling with cigars. We have products for all of those, and we're all cigar smokers. I mean, I've been working with my wife Marilyn for 20 years now at Quality Importers. She smokes cigars. I smoke cigars. Giannini and Alex do, and many other people. So we're all consumers, and we're all users of all of the items that we sell. So even Jimmy Miuto, who is making and designing all of these products, very, very aware and intimate with what cigars need and how to smoke. So whereas we don't have the cigar, or I don't have the cigar making experience that others do, on the accessorial side and on the usage side, we do.
So I want to circle back.
Well, hold on. I want to bring up a comment. And this is Bob Ellis, somebody who is with us every single week. And Bob Ellis has actually been to the Kentucky Barn Smokers. He might have actually been at the Kentucky Barn Smoker where Mr. Giannini was as well. But he said that if I'd heard QI was just coming out with a cigar, I'd probably be skeptical. But knowing Mr. Giannini has a hand in it definitely changes my perception. So, I mean, that's a huge, high, quality praise coming from somebody that I have been able to become friends with. And, he and I, when it comes, it's funny. I always talk about this like anti-chief agenda where I've got a few people who like to razz me in the comments every week. But when it comes to Bob Ellis and I, we always disagree on cigars. A cigar that I love, he hates. A cigar that he loves, I hate. So knowing, though, that he does care about what he smokes, seeing that he has that respect for you, Mr. Giannini. Wow. I mean, that's something that I think, when you guys have the opportunity to jump out and brand and say that this is, no, it's not just Quality Importers putting out a cigar. It's the think tank at Quality Importers who has all this premium tobacco knowledge putting all this into the cigar. And so I think that's something exciting looking forward for you guys. Now, Bob, sorry, go ahead.
So before I jump into this real quick, I see a couple comments popping around. If in your comments while I'm talking, if you could type in the things that the Quality Importer products that you love, the ones that you just really enjoy, I'd love to kind of know what it is that you like to get a hold of and what are the things that really crank your tractor. But I want to speak about the Quality Importers culture that I've experienced just by the short time that we've been together. It is really nice to see that Quality Importers makes a point. You talked about legacy, but to make a accessory accessible. I mean, let's face it. You don't smoke your lighter. You don't smoke your cutter. And so if you spend way too much on a lighter and a cutter, you're going to spend less money on cigars. And I mean, we're about smoking cigars and having cool swag and stuff like that. But the thing that I really enjoy about the Quality Importers products is that they are made at a budget price, but they're quality that lasts. You can go into almost any cigar lounge or cigar whatever, go online, and you can pick up a cheap lighter and a cheap cutter, and you're going to, next 3 months from now, you're going to pick up another cheap lighter and another cheap cutter. And 3 months from there, you're going to buy another one because they just don't hold up. The Quality Importers, they fight way above their price point. You get something, it's going to last. I mean, all honesty, I got this a year and change ago. And before we were going to go with it, I said, you know what, at this price point, I want to make sure that it's going to hold up, because we believe in legacy as well. We want to promote products that we know people have value added and they will enjoy for a long period of time, not have to buy it in, another 6 weeks, another 2 months. And so I put it through real world testing, and we have all sorts. I've got a desk full of products sitting right here that that I'm working through, and I'm not finding any flaws, any problems. And each one, like this one right here, this is so elegant. It's so simple, understated, but it is just thank God it's not out of fuel. It is just a nice feel. It's not like you just get one style of product. It seems that Quality Importer says, okay, what would this person in this lifestyle like to have as their accessory? What would that person like in their accessory? And the price points go up and they go all over the place. And now I can't find it. Where is it? We've got this. There it is. This thing right here. Boy, I tell you what, boy, howdy. This is cool as all get out. This is not something everybody would want to get a hold of, but if you're a gear guy and you want something that's big and substantial and you want to get in your hand and have a good time playing with it, when you go to a lounge, people say, hey, let me see that thing. I mean, it's a neat piece of hardware that has a craftsmanship to it that will last for a long period of time. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of quality, and the Quality Importers. I mean, quality's in the name, and it's in the product as well. So
you were talking about the culture, and when you guys come down to visit us, you'll see as soon as you walk into the building, there's a sign up on the wall, and it says, "Our business is how we do business." And the reason why I started saying that some time ago was because when you first start out in any business, you always wonder, what's the legacy here? What's the longevity? How far will we go with this? And there's the unknown you're constantly walking into every day. And I always said to myself, if how we're doing business is what we're going to concentrate on, then what we do will always fall into place. Meaning, it really wouldn't matter if all of a sudden, because look, the cigar business, part of the bigger tobacco business, and tobacco's always getting hammered, right? So I always said to myself, well, I'm kind of far removed from what's going on the front lines of all of that. And I said, well, if we didn't have cigars, or if they were taxed to oblivion and people didn't buy as many of them anymore, and they're not buying as much accessories anymore, well, the how we do business would still remain, and we'd figure something out. So that was always kind of like our mental insurance plan.
And y'all are very generous, because the Bob the Cigar Guy Chief family, y'all gave us a code, and I'm going to turn it over to Chief, because Chief can do his little talking right now.
No, I was trying to find a way to segue in our sponsorships for the evening, but
you're welcome.
Do want to, as every week we talk about multiple times, we are thankful to Quality Importers and Xikar.com for sponsoring the Chief Talk show every single week in a way that they have chosen to give back through us. Is when you go on to Xikar.com, you can put in the code at checkout, Chief Talk, all one word and capitalized. Get yourself 15% off your checkout. All sorts of cutters, lighters, and everything out there on the Xikar.com universe. And then, of course, obviously, a big thank you to our partners, Drew Estate, for coming alongside Chief Talk every single week and providing us with the ability to continue to bring the culture together. Now, we did have some people who talked a little bit about some of the products that they have that they do love. We would love for everybody who's watching to let us know a little bit about your favorite aspects from either your Humidor Supreme or your Palios or your Xikars or any of the other Quality Importers products that you guys have had the chance to get your hands on over the years. Because again, they've been in the game for quite some time, 24 years, if I believe I remember hearing earlier. So people have had a plethora amount of time to be able to have gotten their hands on stuff, either through buying at retail, buying online, or getting some swag stuff. Like when Drew Estate or I had it. Oh, here it is. I just reorganized my whole. Nope, that's not them. I just reorganized my. There they are. Some of my.
We look like a frat house in here. I mean, we have stuff everywhere.
Like here's a JC Newman, right? We got Villigers here, fantastic, sharp. And then this is one of my favorite ones. I don't even use it because of how beautiful it is. This is the leather rose from Drew Estate. But we did have some people already go ahead and talk about some of theirs. Supremo Tobacco loves his Tactical 3 lighter and his new Chief and Bob the Cigar Guy Pistolas. Adam Wolf loves his Xikar Tactical 1 and his Chief Bob the Cigar Guy Pistola lighters. Fireborn, he went ahead and purchased a couple of them. He actually just got his this week.
Boom.
His Bob the Cigar Guy and Chief Pistola lighters. Supremo Tobacco says he's got like 4 of the Xikar X1. Jay Bates, love the Xikar Tactical lighters. I have a few of the Xikar lighters and X1 that are the Roma swag. Love the products. Bob the Cigar Guy, absolutely 100% love the quality. Bob Ellis loves the Palio and the XI Barn Smoker cutter. Now, one of the reasons that we wanted you guys to kind of talk about, and there will hopefully be more comments coming in, is we have a plethora of people watching. Mr. Michael Giordano at the beginning before the show had started said, "Hey, you guys ever interested in doing giveaways or not?" It's like, do we ever? And so he wanted to be able to find a way to give back to those who are kind of involved within the quality importers accessory community. And so anybody who is, and I will actually go ahead and present my screen so you guys can see this. I've been doing this off screen while you guys have been talking and comments have been going. Is I already have a spinner wheel over here ready to go with the people who have been talking about some of the products that they love that Quality Importers, Xikar, Humidor Supreme, and the others that are available. So your names are being entered in as you talk about the experiences, the things that you love, or just maybe the things that you love about the show so far when it comes to the show. Now, at some point during the show, once we feel we've gathered all of the contestant entrants, we'll spin the wheel, and whoever wins will get something shipped off to you guys here in the near future. When it comes to the comments related, obviously it's going to come from the Quality Importers guys. So don't be banking on getting a box of Cubans or something. We're going to have some Quality Importer stuff coming y'all's way.
That's a cool little wheel you got there.
Yeah, it's something I've learned to do since February. So we've been running that. We did a March Madness thing. We used it for giveaways. When you said giveaways earlier, I didn't want to over jump and seem like I was too giddy or not, but we love doing giveaways, man. We love doing giveaways. Bob Ellis loves the lighter. Sammy Flo loves the Xikar DE Liga 10 lighter.
So really the question is this. Let's cut to the chase.
Go ahead.
If you guys wanted something from Mr. Giordano, start posting what you would like for us to give you away. Doesn't mean we're going to give it to you, but just say something, guys. We know you love this stuff. Let's cut right to the chase. And don't say I need a tower and I need this. I mean, something that you will really use, and you're going to post it, and you're going to post it on the Chief's website, the Jump Out the Report, and you're going to let us know about it, that you actually got this really cool product from us. Right? That's what you need to do. In Cambodia, very cool.
Wow. Awesome.
I really like the comment from now it's gone. Where'd the comment go? My Pistola lighter lights better when I can see the BTCG side. I concur.
Yeah, that's because the side the cigar sees is the cheap side.
Well, it's running to the BTCG side. That's all I know.
So can I also drop 3 more topics, because this company is, what you're starting to learn is we're not just an accessory company. So we have, for our retailer friends out there, and this is for Chief and Bob, we are actually an accessory company putting on our own version of a trade show in South Florida at our Weston offices. And here's some of the attendees that are coming. EP Carrillo, La Aurora, Crown Heads, Espinosa, Villiger, and Gurkha are all going to be at our trade show in our offices on September 7th. Consumers out there, I apologize, you're not going to be able to do that, but we have spearheaded a trade show because of the way the world's landed this year, where we actually moved the PCF into March. So just want to say that again. Michael Giordano has said, hey, let's do a trade show. Alex and our sales director, Michael Boswell, cool guy. Basically, we all sat as a team and came up with this really cool idea. And here we are, we're doing our own trade show. And we have our cigar manufacturer partners coming in. Next thing is we have a Palio Pro, which, Bob, I know you like our Scorpius. For the month of July, and yes, I am pitching some stuff to you guys, so pay attention. Yep, there it is.
Look at that thing. That's one. That's a one and done right there. You got your nub tool. You got your punch right there. You've got that amazing, huge single jet. Look at that thing. That thing is nice.
Isn't that cool?
Many colors as well. And it may one day have the Bob the Cigar Guy and Chief logo on both sides. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that. So
what we're doing is we are doing a national promotion July 1st to July 31st with our participating retailers. If you come in and you want to trade any lighter, we don't care what kind of lighter it is. If you want to upgrade to a Palio Pro, you get 33% off the suggested retail price. Okay, let me say that again. We have 3 designs. The Scorpius is what Bob showed you. We have this really cool Antares, which is a side button, dual flame, and then we have Polaris, which is a triple flame. All 3 designs come in 5 different colors. You walk into your retail and like, hey, I got this lighter that is a $5 lighter. You can trade it in and you can upgrade to one of our Palio Pro lighters. You get 33% off the suggested retail. Who does crazy stuff like this? We do at Quality Importers. So we're an accessory company promoting a national promotion around the U.S. about accessories. Nobody else does that. And then the last thing that I just want to drop is one of Michael Giordano's pet projects is a wine brand. So I'm just dropping 3 really big things. So the only reason I want to say this is we are just not an accessory company. We are an entrepreneurial company led by Michael Giordano, and nothing is off the table here. So we're an accessory company that does cigars, that does trade shows, that does wine brands, that actually nationally promotes stuff. Nobody, and we did that cigar. So nobody in our industry on this side of the world is doing anything as we're pushing forward for the industry and helping our manufacturer partners and our retailer partners to be successful in it. So I needed to get that off my chest. I wanted to say that because you guys are wonderful guys. You have a great audience out there. So pick up any thread you want and just go.
I'm glad. I mean, it's always, trying to find transitions into things is always the fun part of my job, with having to listen, type, do comments, all that stuff, and then try to figure out transitions. So that's perfect for me. You've made my job completely easy. But before I do, Dan Burns had said, I haven't yet found a good torch yet. I've been using a cheapie from the quality gas station lighters that don't last long. Dan Burns, I know you, and I know you're a tactical man. This tactical lighter. Let me put myself as the main scene here, the main man. It is Chief Talk after all. This tactical lighter has become my favorite cigar lighter that I've ever had. I'm big on the tactical scene. I love everything tactical. Flat dark earth, olive drab, black, tactical, guns, bullets, knives, cutters, all that stuff. I'm on it. And you guys had sent this to us a couple weeks ago, and it sits in a satin bag when I travel around with it, because I want to keep it as nice and beautiful and as pristine as possible. Not that it couldn't work getting beat up and thrown around in my pocket. I want to treat this thing with such beautiful respect because it is such an awesome lighter. I love this thing. Huge fuel tank. I haven't had to refill it once, and since 3 weeks that I've had it. Really enjoy this thing. So Dan Burns, definitely suggest checking that lighter out. Now,
And hang on, a couple of the great things about that lighter is the dial on the bottom. That whole thing is how you change your flame size. You can see the fuel like Steve was talking about, but one of the coolest things to me is it's got the tactical written on there, right? And so one of the things that frustrates me when I have a great lighter and I want to take pictures, because I take lots of pictures, is if it's got a rest on top that I have to only sit it in the one direction that I want it to be. Well, this has, you can go all four ways. So you could show the trigger side, you could show the tactical side, you could show the clip side. I mean, you can go any way you want to with that. And mine is in that gunmetal, and it's right on the desk. I've been grabbing it and using as much as I can. And I run through a ton of cigars. And real quick, real fast, we talked about cutters, we talked about lighters, we talked about Travadors. But you know what? When you have a lighter, eventually this lighter is going to run out of fuel. If you're smoking cigars like you ought to smoke lots of cigars. You ought to run out of a lot of fuel. So you got to bleed your lighter. This is not just a bleeder. Steven's got one that's still out of the package that he uses regularly. I just got a hold of this, so I haven't taken out the package because I want to show
I don't have to
pictures
use
of
it
it.
as regular anymore because I've got a humongous fuel cell. But yes, no, absolutely, I love this thing. I was actually talking about this last week because it's got the bleeder tool on the bottom, and you saw how long it took me to get that off. Having to pull that thing off because it's not going to fall off in your pocket. I love that. But it's also got the interchangeable Phillips head and the flat head on the top of it, right? And then you've got the hex head for tiny nuts and bolts and whatnot. But I think one of my favorite things about this is that if I'm using it, I can put pressure against my hand, and then I can twist it without having to, wrench down on it or whatnot. So sorry.
The fuel, the butane that escapes doesn't escape right into your hand. It's got a little weeping hole that comes out of the side, so it actually doesn't make your hand freezy cold.
Right.
Excuse me.
Now, to follow back with what Mr. Giannini left off with, Mr. Giordano, I would love to hear more about this wine collaboration that you're working on.
Sure. So we have, I'll show it to you here. So we have a brand called La Pistolina, and it's maybe you can get it close here. Can you see it?
It looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so we have some we have a wine out of California, out of Napa Valley, a Cabernet, and we recently brought in a Super Tuscan Italian blend and also a Prosecco out of Italy, and a friend of mine over at Palio over at Great Cliff in the Bahamas helped me to make the contact in Italy, and we distributed out of Florida, and it's I've been seeing a lot of the cigar magazines now mentioning wine pairings with cigars, and the first time I saw it, I said that's interesting, and then I picked up Cigar Snob, I saw that, and I picked up Cigars and Spirits, and I saw it in there, and then I'm seeing it more and more. And when I go to a bar or a lounge, cigar lounge locally, I'm seeing more people drinking wine with cigars. So I just feel that what we've done as a passion project is actually starting to come to fruition on the larger scale out there, and it's interesting. It's much closer to the cigar business than the accessory business that we do. Blending a wine, blending cigars, it's all about taste, it's all about balance, it's all about notes, and it's been a fun project, and people like it, which is cool because look, I've never really drank Prosecco or Champagne, and there's many different variations of that. They have brutes, they have extra brutes, they have dry, they have extra dry, but when you're able to actually have some say over what you want the product to be, you can come out with something that is not necessarily plentiful in the market. And then when you do that and you start showing it around, we find that there are people who, even in our own office, who are like, I really don't drink red wine. Oh, but I like this. And then we explain to them why. And then they drink, Champagne or Prosecco. A lot of times that people think that's for the women, but there's there's something about drinking something that's crisp and refreshing, especially during a hot time of the year down here in South Florida, where they go, oh, that's really nice. I like that. So just coming out with new things, being creators first and foremost, is what we are, and we're really enjoying it, and it's being well received.
One of our good friends, Eric Gutmerson, Cigar Dojo, he is huge on wine, and Eric is an amazing pillar of the media industry for the cigars. And I know in some of his dojo lives, a lot of times they'll do wine pairings and things like that. I had never thought about doing wine with a cigar, and because of that, I had tried it a couple times, and I can concur that it's nice to have. You pick up especially depending on the cigar, because if you have a cigar that has the hints of grapes or the hints of raisins and leathers, it really does lend to the finish and the taste in between the puffs of the cigar.
Yeah. So Bob, to that note, then what we'll do is we'll speak again about getting you some of this. So if you choose to do that on air, you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So here's the crazy thing. When do you think Michael Giordano launched his wine brand? When would be the worst time on the planet to launch anything that was in our recent history?
December 26th.
No, well, besides that, COVID 2020, Michael decides I'm going to do a wine brand. And I heard this story and I'm like, what? Michael, tell them the story.
Well, yeah. So this, you guys would know, because in January of 2018, we acquired Xikar, and the vintage of the first Cabernet out of Napa Valley is 2016, and we still have some small amounts of that left in the inventory. And what we learned is that in the wine and spirits business, you can be the maker, you can be the distributor, or you can be the retailer. You can't be two or three. So being that we were considered the maker in this case, we couldn't distribute our own wine like we could accessories and cigars in the cigar industry. So we secured the wine, and it's sitting there in barrels in Napa Valley, and it's aging. And normally they'll age a wine in oak for like 6 months, 9 months. We became very busy and occupied with the acquisition of Xikar, and I kind of forgot about it. And it was about 1.5 years that it was in the barrels, and it doesn't keep getting better. It kind of gets to the top of where it's going to get, and then it just starts to evaporate. So while it's sitting there evaporating, I'm like, we got to find a distributor that can, in Florida, that we can do this with. And that was actually more difficult than I thought it ever would be. But we finally did get it. So even though it's a 2016 vintage, by the time we got it into Florida and then actually was able to start doing something with it, we're on lockdown like everybody else. So that was in March of 2020, right? So later on in March, probably around like after the summer, we're talking like September, October, we were just like, we gotta get out and like do something. So I said, how am I going to get this into the market? So we decided we were going to have a dinner for the company. And we went to one of the local restaurants that used to be jam-packed, and they're just kind of like, just trying to figure out how they're going to stay open and get people to come. And I said, can we do a dinner here? And they said, yeah. And I said, so I need like, 60 people. And they said 60. We haven't had 60 people in here for a couple months. And I said, well, we want to do this, and we want to have a wine for them, because we want to do a tasting and show it. So what we did was we told them we would consume the wine that they buy, because they're like, we're not bringing in anything new, especially now. So I said, look, whatever you bring in a couple cases, and then what we'll do is we'll consume. I'll buy it from you at the dinner, from Quality, and when we did that, they were super pleased that we were there. Then they saw everyone enjoying the wine. They tried the wine. They liked it. They started carrying it. So in short, that's kind of how we launched it into commerce.
That's pretty cool.
I love hearing that.
That's pretty cool.
I'm Bob's the wine guy. So.
Well, Steven wines a lot more than I do. Millennials and all that.
So I think we gotta get some over to you, and then you guys try it, and then maybe do a live on it or something like that. That'd be cool.
That'd be fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to get my hands on the Conspiracy and do a review on because I really think this is a groundbreaking product. The way it's put together, where you can get the swag, but the cigar is not just a cigar, so you get swag. The cigar is a standalone cigar, and the swag is a standalone swag. The accessories and stuff. So I really think this is something that's gonna just take off and just run gangbusters. Y'all are gonna have a hard time keeping up with supply. To be honest.
Now, yeah, I think that swag, like you guys said before, to be able to have swag that's paired with the brand, and then when you show it on social media and you post about it, it's kind of an all-inclusive package. The accessories, and I've said this before on other lives and throughout the years, accessories to a cigar store are secondary. I call it the necessary evil. And the reason why I say that is because they're hard goods. They take up space. A lot of times, a lot of cigar stores are out of space. And to put a range of humidors on the shelf, it takes up a lot of the store where they can showcase a lot of cigars. And first and foremost, they're in the business to sell cigars. So the necessary evil is, there are people buying accessories every single day. And how do we get the accessory sales from the stores so that when people walk in, they're not just like, oh, I'll just go online and get it? Because if we can have merchandising in the stores, then they're going to buy it on the spot. So we tried going the route of, we can offer this for you, but because of everything that's going on every day, it's not always accepted and understood the way we're delivering it. To be able to offer Conspiracy cigars with its own swag, one for one, whether it's one cigar or one box, it kind of takes the thinking process away from that. And it just becomes point blank, this is what it is. And the concept already makes sense. So it was a matter of, how do we deliver the concept? Remember how we do business. How do we deliver the concept versus how do we get them to adopt the concept?
Makes sense.
So that's to your point, where it's starting to get traction. And again, people have to like the cigar. It's got to be a quality cigar. It's got to be quality accessories. And it can't just be something that's thrown together because, like I said before, consumers, and we're all consumers as well, consumers are super educated today. They're super aware. And they're not only aware of what they're buying, they're aware of what they want and what they like, unlike any time before. So we have to cater to that. Everyone does.
Absolutely. 100% agree. That echoes some sentiments from earlier. Now, I feel like I would be doing a disservice to myself, you guys, everybody else. When I asked earlier about, well, which was your favorite cigar blend or cigar Vitola to smoke of the Conspiracy? Do you guys have any of your accessories that you find yourself using more often than others, or do you kind of, I'll use one for now and use one for later, or I have my good ones here and my everyday carries here? How do you guys go about that with your accessories?
That's a good question. Giannini, you want to go?
So, okay, being Italian, you got to have a watch wardrobe. You got to have a clothes wardrobe. You got to have a shoe wardrobe. To me, it depends on where I'm going and what I have. And, the funniest thing is, before I joined Quality Importers, I didn't realize all the cool brands I already had under my belt that came from Michael. And so, I have a collection of Xikar cutters I've had from the course of the year. So Depending on what I'm wearing, I will actually take the specific cutter or specific lighter. I love that I have the Veneto because I have a convertible here, and I love blowing people's minds because I like driving 65 miles an hour, popping this, using a perfect cut. So literally what I do with the perfect cut is I put the foot in my mouth. I cut it because it cuts it perfectly so I don't lose my eyes off the road, and I pull out this Veneto and I light the cigar while I'm driving, and people are like, how's he doing that? And I kind of just do that and I keep driving. So that's my convertible lighter. When I'm out, I have a beautiful, Michael's wife, Marilyn, gave me this beautiful cheetah print Xikar, one in rose gold and one in yellow gold that I carry when I go out to dress or going out to dinner. I use Palio a lot during the day, and in the office, I love the Volta lighter, tabletop lighter that I actually have on my desk. So, you got to have a wardrobe, right? You can't just have, like, we're all collectors of this stuff. We all have multiple humidors, multiple lighters. Chief, you showed me all the different cutters you have from different manufacturers. That's the beauty of this. Which one's talking to you that day? That's what gets taken along with you for the ride to enjoy your day.
And that's one of the things I love about quality importers across the board with their lighters and their cutters is I dabble. I say I dabble. I do professional cigar photography, and so being able to have cutters and lighters that somewhat match the vibe of the brand or the cigar box or the humidor or whatever it be. I love that there's a plethora of things to be able to go and grab and throw in there and on top of the photo, to add a little bit of that depth, a little bit of that quality to show off, not only the smoke that I'm smoking, but the accessory that I'm using to cut and light that cigar. Now, Mr. Giordano, are you the same way? Do you have a wardrobe of cutters and lighters, or how do you?
So it's funny. I'm like the guy who makes shoes and walks around with holes in my shoes, right? I don't walk around with holes in my shoes, but in likeness, I've shown up at places and I'm like, hey, do you got a lighter? And they're like, oh, wait a second, don't you sell like tens of thousands of lighters? The funny thing is that when I do at my desk at the office, I have like a stack of different things that just collect over time. And they're usually like either prototype samples of items that we haven't released yet. Or if I'm kind of just moseying through the warehouse and I kind of come across a box of in the returns aisle or something, and I look at it and I go, oh, this looks pretty good. Yeah, we're writing this off anyway. And I take that back and I use it. That's just for me. When I go out, when I'm going to be somewhere that I know people are going to be, when I'm prepared, in other words, I'll bring something that looks cool. I'll bring something that's new, that's maybe not released yet, but is about to be released, and try to just kind of show it to people who would appreciate it. And most of the times, it's very well received.
I like that.
You said prototypes, and I started drooling. I'm like,
oh, there's like it's endless.
Prototypes. That's the stuff nobody else can get. I'm just sitting there going, ooh. That'd be a cool bonus to have that job.
Yeah, and it's not just lighters and cutters; it's literally everything. I mean, if you were to come down to our place and see, I'm not exaggerating. There, Stinky said to me, "Hey, I sent you something," and I'm like, "Okay." So I open up this package, and it's a crystal Stinky ashtray.
Wow.
And it's like it's got etching in it, and it's got one of one, and I'm a collector too. I love to collect things, and I'm very nostalgic. So I'm like, well, I don't want to use that, but wait a second, I should use it, because then if it's out in our showroom or in our conference room and people see it, it could be something that we launch as like a commemorative type of thing for like 25 years in the business for the Stinky ashtray. So there's constantly things like that, just like there would be in any company that creates products. But the preference out there right now for cutters, for example, the V cutter for a long time has been very, very popular. And I even saw some of the comments mention V cutters. And we have a number of them. And I don't personally prefer the V cut.
Me either.
But I do appreciate the fact that people do. And we have to make sure we cater to that. So I have a V cutter, a Palio V cutter that we came out with not too long ago, and it's on point. And every once in a while, I look at that and let me give this a try, and then I do, and I just kind of, being that it's something I don't normally do, I get to spend some time with it to understand what someone who is looking for this wants. And we have to stay in touch with those things, because if we just go to what we like, we're going to lose track of what people want.
Now, I'm going to have an ask. When we come down to the QI headquarters and we come down and get to see all the amazing things, please don't weigh my backpack before I get there and then when I walk out, okay? Because it's going to be a little heavier when I go out the door. So,
well, that's what shipping is for, right?
I mean, when you're around all that great stuff, some stuff just, I got to take that home with me. So.
Well, it's funny because one of the trade shows a couple of years back, we were doing a Xikar HP promo at the PCA. And everyone who came to the PCA that got the PCA bag had a little mini can of Xikar butane in it. So when like the last day of the show, as people started leaving the show to go back home, and we were still on the floor, someone shows a picture at the airport of a TSA notification, and it was a picture of the Xikar butane, and it says, "Do not bring this on the plane."
Oops.
At that point, I know that we hit saturation with that.
Well, TSA loves me. They it's almost like a date. They're going to check every square inch of me every time I go past the airport. And I was so glad this year we were at one of the airports going to PCA, and then now somebody's gotten really smart, and there's a little private kiosk that you scan with your phone, and it has packaging. And so anything TSA says, we're going to take it unless you go back to your car and send it home. You can actually just drop the stuff in that little bag and pay for it right there on your phone, and it will mail it to you so you don't lose all those cutters and lighters, because TSA has a plethora of cutters and lighters, and some of them were mine. That's for sure.
Now,
Wow.
Suprema Tobacco, a good buddy of mine, who's also on the tactical wave, wants to know if there's any plans for a tactical cutter or other additions to the tactical lineup.
Yeah, so Supremo is definitely in alignment with our thinking. So we're up to tactical 3 now, Michael.
Yeah,
so
correct.
We have the tactical 1, 2, and 3, and part of what we've discussed is expanding upon some of the items we already have and building them out, as opposed to just coming out with something new. So we're always looking at what we can come out with new, but building out some of those other ones that we have, there's more space to do that. So that's a great idea.
I like it. I saw a comment earlier from Dan Burns that was asking, did QI have any ashtrays that'll fit into cup holders? And I went over to the
Website?
Quality Importers website and saw that you guys do have Stinky cigar car ashtrays.
So we have 2. There's the Stinky car ashtray, and there's also the Xikar ash can as well.
Okay.
We are a one-stop shop, guys. We carry everything.
Including cigars and wine.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Well, I said to Michael, because he's daring enough to do things like this, and I said, look, you're going to be going around in our city, and you're going to be visiting some shops, and the number of them have a lounge, and they have a bar, and they sell beer and wine and liquor. And I said, while you go, just here, take a bottle and show them while you're there, and see what happens. Don't go into this big pitch like you're a wine company rep, because that we don't want to be, we don't want to confuse. You've got a certain amount of time when you walk in, but just let them know it's there. Just create the awareness. And he comes back and he goes, I sold some wine today. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, here's the sample. I go, wait a second. You sold the wine without anyone trying it? He goes, yeah, I just showed them and they picked it up. I said, I think you single-handedly just changed the industry because nobody ever buys a wine without trying it. And that was his first visit.
No, with the tactical lineup idea, we need the lighter, we need a cutter, we need a tactical humidor, travel humidor, like a gun locker, stand up safe. You got my brain running with tactical ideas.
And matching shirts and hats.
Yeah, tactical hat. What's the tactical hat look like?
So is that a hint? Like that's what we possibly maybe could be giving away tonight, or?
I mean
like I don't know. Like we're saying to you guys, tell us what you want. We love that you love our products.
I love that everybody loves them too. Whatever you guys choose to give away, we'll leave that up to you guys.
I mean, it's up to Michael. It's his product, but
I just want to have fun.
Yeah,
Let's have fun.
But you come to the right place. That's all we like to do.
Fun. I mean, we all work, right? Everyone works, right? Okay. Right. We don't need to work more to have fun. We gotta do other things.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. No. So with that, we'll I think I've compiled the full list of names of
what does the wheel look like?
Yeah, we're gonna come over here and see what the wheel's doing over here.
Oh wow.
We've got our nice wheel going. So these are the people, and I think I didn't miss any, but I'll go back through the comments here over a couple minutes and make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Who was? Yep, got him. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll spin the wheel and it'll choose somebody, and then you guys will deliberate. And it doesn't have to be right now. It can be later. It can be tomorrow. It can be next week. You guys can deliberate what you guys want to send to us to send out, and we'll make sure that it gets into the hands of the wonderful people who did participate in.
Now, for all the people that I have participated in, whoever is the lucky individual who wins, know that we are shutting down for the 4th of July week. So when things get sent to us, it won't be sent out for at least another week and a half. And so we will get it to you, I promise. If you're the winner, hit Chief up or hit me up. So that we can get your address, so that we can get the stuff sent to you.
Unless it's somebody I know already, we have the address for.
Right.
Because a lot of the people we already have the address for. Because they bought stuff from our quality importers catalog of branded swag.
Fantastic swag.
You guys ready for me to click this wheel?
Do it.
All right.
Good luck to everybody.
There we go.
Fireborn. Boom.
Fireborn. We do have his shipping information because he purchased 3 of the black Bob the Cigar Guy Palio pistolas just last week. So Fireborn, I've got your email. Once we get the stuff, I'll reach out to you and let you know it's on the way, buddy.
Nice. So what are we gonna? Let's see. What should we do on that? If they already have the pistolas, we were just talking about tactical. So let's see.
I think, Michael.
What do you think, Michael?
I think Palio Pro. Bob has shown the Scorpius, which is a great lighter. I think we could do that.
Fantastic.
Okay, so is Fireborn still live with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put out a question to Fireborn, and we need a response to this. Being that you won, do you think that we should give one of those to all 10 on the wheel?
Wow!
Whoa!
Holy smokes!
Come on,
the
reply.
internet just broke.
Wow!
Fireborn, there's only one answer, right?
I'm waiting for his response. He's probably dumbfounded and dropped his phone.
I just hope he doesn't come back and say, no, send them all to me. I'll take that.
It's almost like paying forward at like a drive-through window. You know, the first time that ever happened to me, I drove up and I was kind of on the phone. I was preoccupied with something, and the person at the window goes, "Okay, that's it." And I'm just like, "What do I owe you?" Of course, there we go. That's the one. That's the answer that I was expecting right there. Thank you.
Fantastic.
So, you know, and they said, no, like they paid for it. And I'm like, who is they? And I just drove off and I was just like, oh man, I was supposed to pay that back. So ever since then, I'm like, let me make up for it. This is one way.
That's a great way. That is for dang sure.
All right. So everyone gets the Palio Pro.
Fantastic. So I don't know if I have everybody's address, but I'm kind of dumbfounded right now. That was out of left field. Y'all are awesome.
All right, I saved the names.
And let's make sure that we that we print their information on it so that it comes from the show.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
awesome.
perfect. Awesome. Perfect.
Wonderful. And we will ship all that out, and everybody will get to enjoy. Please take lots of pictures, put on social media, showing off your products, and enjoy the fool out of them. You're gonna like that lighter. That single jet's a beast. It is a good size single jet. It's got everything. This is a one and done kit. I mean, the thing I love about this is it's got that punch, and it's got that nub tool as well, that draw tool as well. I mean, fantastic. The finish is great on this thing. It's got that big dial on there. It's got your fuel wind on the back, so you know what fuel you got. I mean, it's a great product. It's the one that we're leaning on, possibly doing next. So fantastic.
Awesome.
We're right here on. Actually, we've gone past 10 o'clock. Congratulations, guys! We made it past the 10.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for that. You guys were able to come on here and spend some time with us. Talk about the the love child that you guys have within quality importers. And I love being able to hear about all of the ideas that are that have come out, the idea behind quality importers, the idea behind the conspiracy, the line, and just being a part of the actual cigar culture, being a part of the cigar community. And then obviously, giving back to the people who, faithfully were here this evening, who participated in the stream. That's fantastic and awesome. So I'm super thankful for that. And,
I think being here is more exciting than watching the debate, right? We can always go on YouTube and do that.
Yeah.
We'll hear about it for the next 2 weeks. That's for sure.
Look, I'm glad people chose to sit here and watch something where they didn't lose brain cells instead of somewhere else. Pound stand for 2 hours. No, this is definitely a much better use of time. That's for sure. But before,
can I talk quick? Story before I go?
Absolutely.
So, thank you guys, and thank to all your followers out there for watching this video. It means a lot to us. I actually met Bob at a barn smoker. Bob, I don't even remember what year it was. And you didn't know me from Adam. I didn't know you from Adam. You pulled me aside. Hey, we're going to do an interview. And you were so gracious enough to do that. So as Michael is pushing this forward with giving away the Scorpius, the Palio Scorpius, I would never forgot that. And so thank you, Chief. Thank you, Bob, for what you do for the industry and what you're doing for us to move this forward. And all the wonderful people out there watching that. Without you guys, we don't have a reason to exist. So much appreciated.
No, absolutely.
Awesome.
This is a joy. This is a passion project. If it wasn't a joy and it wasn't a passion project, we probably wouldn't still be doing this. Chief Talk is now officially into its full 6 years. And there's been a lot of frustration and bumps along the road, and YouTube and other social medias. It's just like the cigar industry is known to catch flack and all sorts of feedback from people who think they know what cigars are about, and they have no idea from Adam anything that they're saying. They want to demonize it. And so social medias have they've been kind of butts to keep it PG through this whole entire process. And there have been great content creators who have decided, it's just not worth it when we're going to pack up and we're going to go. And I'm thankful that we have stuck it out and stayed, because again, like we were talking about before the show, the cigar culture to me is worth it. And aligning myself with brands and companies who also have that same idea makes it even more worth it for me. And to be able to have you guys come on and talk about, your heart, your love, your experience, 200 years of combined experience, in the game, and still being able to sit down and say, you know what, I want to sit down and have a chat with the cigar world, not the industry, but the people who make the industry run, in the sense of, if the industry can make anything they want, but if nobody buys it, the industry doesn't go anywhere. And so you guys are giving back to the people, just by being here. But then obviously, the people who decided to participate, you guys said, you know what, let's reward them all. And I'm thankful for that. That's awesome. And that builds a credibility, that builds accountability, and that builds a passion of a fandom going forward that you guys can rely on, because you backed them. Now they're going to back you. And I appreciate that. I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have to stick together with this, and what doesn't kill us makes us stronger in every sense of life. So when we stick to what's true to us, and we allow ourselves to be daring enough to try something new, that's how the future is born. And thank you for the time and what you guys do as well.
And I got to say, we are very selective about who our partners are. We've had other companies reach out to us to partner with them. And first of all, we have to make sure that the product is going to be quality. It's going to be something that's going to be valuable to the people that sit and watch, because we don't ever want to try to push something or promote something that doesn't give value to their lives. But not only that, we have to make sure that the people that we build these relationships with, because we're into long-term relationships, we got to make sure we G and haul. We got to make sure that the hearts are the same, and the drive to give the consumer the greatest opportunities to take that moment of peace, because everybody has budgets and everybody only has so much disposable income. But more importantly, you only have so much time, and you can't get that time back. And so you want to make sure that the things that you choose to use and choose to enjoy are something that's going to give back to you. And, when Steven and I sat down and we started talking about whether we wanted to bring quality importers onto the Bob the Cigar Guy family, we really held your foot to the fire to find out if y'all are the real deal. And it's been 2 years now, and we are more than blessed to have y'all to be part of our family and to put out great products and just have a great mindset. And by doing this big giveaway, that's just one more piece of evidence that shows me that we really are like-minded. And I am blessed to get to know y'all and to be a part of the Quality Importers lifestyle. It's fantastic. So
that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, we do want to go ahead and wrap the show up here. We thank you guys for coming on the show and being with us, giving back to the community just with your time. It's always great to be able for people to be able to get a glimpse into maybe some people they thought they'd never had the opportunity to chat with or watch or whatnot. And you guys have definitely become the top of my list of people that I love having on the show, just because of how interactive you guys are, how passionate you guys are, and how much you're just willing to sit here and talk about things that you love that benefit the cigar community, past, present, and going forward. And so I thank you guys so much for coming on. So I'm going to drop you guys out. If you want to stick around, once the stream ends, we can chat back up for a couple seconds. If you got to go, no worries. We're going to end out the show here. So thank you both for coming on. I'm going to drop you both down. I'll see you guys in just a minute. So I'm excited.
What a great show.
Having both of the Michaels on. I'm glad I did not mess up names. Call one Michael and the other one Michael. Kind of works out in favor for me.
Right.
But I have been looking forward to this.
Hopefully we'll have them on again sometime.
This was, kind of an idea that I kind of just hatched out at the end of a Chief talk. I was like, hey, can you get in contact with Michael Giannini and ask him if, he'd be willing to come on the show? And Michael said, you know what? Not only will I love to come on the show, we'll have Giordano on as well. So I'm thankful that they accepted the request and came on, and obviously I hope that they enjoyed their time on the show. It seemed that they enjoyed, so
I
hopefully
think
we'll
so.
have them back in the future, and maybe we can talk them in between now and then. Maybe we can talk them into a couple more tactical ideas.
No, we don't have a show next week.
We don't.
You're gonna be beaching, right?
I was gonna get to that. Yes, next week we'll not have Chief Talk. Next Thursday is the 4th of July. To all of you who are here in the States, do enjoy your 4th of July week or extended weekend, or however long you've got to celebrate if you're on vacation or if you're at home. Obviously, treat your fireworks like you treat your cigars, safely, diligently, and come back to us in 2 Thursdays with all 10 fingers. If you currently have 10 fingers. If you have 9 fingers, you come back with 10 fingers. I don't want to know how you got it. But no, we won't be on next week. Do enjoy the holiday break. And then we'll pick back up the second week of July, back where we left off.
And you kept your 20 streak.
Yeah, we crushed it. We got up to 34 concurrent viewers.
Boom.
So, super happy to have everybody jump in, pop in the show. Thank you to everybody who did participate in talking about their products. And when the people who weren't here this week or who didn't participate are in chat next time, haha, Mac Bergson.
Oh, that's not nice.
That is nice. When they come on the next time and you're in chat, let them know, you guys should have been there. So we can't promise they'll do it the next time, but they'll know better than to miss out next time because it was a great show. Really appreciated having both of those guys on to talk about the wonderful world of quality importers and everything that they touch. So thank you all for hanging out with us. We're gonna be checking out, and we'll see you next week. And I'll play some of these roles for you. Bye-bye. Have you checked out ChevetteReport.com? It's the newest cigar media outlet to keep you in the know with all things cigar lifestyle related. From press releases to reviews, we have it all covered. Be some of our first members to join ChevetteReport.com and be a part of the next step in the cigar culture. ChevetteReport.com.
Time to relax. Whew. Man, I'm beat. Whew. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Show's over. Go home. Go home. Show's over. What are you waiting for? You waiting for another show? This is a one-ticket entry. Go. Bye. Go. Go. Go.